Felix, Navalny doesn't have Covid-19. That's the latest we've heard. But what do we know about his condition, Felix?
Yeah, so for a few days now, Navalny has been reporting sort of flu-like symptoms, so an elevated temperature, a bad cough, and this is really in relation to a number of other sort of ongoing health concerns that he has. He's of course recovering from an almost lethal Novichok poisoning, but he's also been reporting pain in his back and in his legs, and of course he's on hunger strike to try and have his personal doctor admitted to examine him. So in general, there are a lot of sort of health concerns that are about Navalny that are quite separate, that are sort of coalescing right now, creating certainly among his allies real worry for his health. He has of course tested negative for COVID, but in a recent Instagram post, he actually claimed that there's a tuberculosis outbreak in the prison. Now, the prison where he's being held is only about 100 miles from Moscow, but it is one of Russia's most notorious prisons. So it's certainly not out of the question there really is a TB outbreak there. In general, Navalny has accused the prison authorities of waging what he says is a sort of a strategic campaign to undermine his health. And in the last day or so, we've seen Amnesty International essentially agree with that assessment. So there is a lot of rising worry, I would say, about his health right now.
Yeah, Felix, just speaking of Amnesty International, the human rights group says that Navalny's treatment in prison amounts to torture and that it might be slowly killing him. Here's what they said about that.
We've started a major campaign to first demand that he be released immediately. Secondly, while we wait for his release, we demand that he has access to all the support and medical assistance that he needs as a person who's been poisoned with Novichok, something that's extremely serious.
OK, so that's what Amnesty International says about Navalny's treatment. I'm just wondering, Felix, what's the level of public interest in his plight there in Russia? Is it sort of top news there?
Well, his allies are certainly rallying around and trying to keep his demands for healthcare sort of in the public spotlight. We saw a small protest outside his prison yesterday where his personal doctor was actually arrested. But it would be an exaggeration to say that the Navalny hunger strike is the talk of the town. In Moscow, at least, it's not really driving sort of ongoing unrest. There is a sort of there is talk of a remobilization almost of the Navalny movement, which is preparing to resume protests. It says later in the spring, but at the moment there's really not a sort of a sustained public interest. As we get closer to the summer, when there will be very highly anticipated elections happening in Russia that the Navalny movement wants to contest, it's possible that we'll see his case come more into the spotlight. But right now, it's not the top story, I would say.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed. Felix Light in Moscow. Thank you.